Day one of MEQ. KIVA 16 red and get action against A5. A5 2-0. We believe KIVA 1-1. They must-win game for KIVA if they want to stay in gold and avoid one of the base medals. Not an auspicious start there. Some indication that a line judge was calling an antenna or something on that earlier shot, but R1 and R2 not caring to care. Thrown down off the blocker, looked like it got her in the face and the eye. Definitely having some issues with the eye watering. Looks like she's going to stay in though. That's never fun. A 172 for Brooke. Don't think we've actually tangled with these guys since 13's years in the finals at AAU. Came up short against them in a pretty fun match. Nice run that season. Fates have not conspired to throw us together until now. 3-1. Both teams have changed complexion quite a bit since then. There's some new players on each. Marissa Jones was the MOP that year. She's playing up for A5 now, I think, so not on the 16's team. 4-1 lead now. Nice swing there, but almost, but not quite. Nice touch, if you didn't notice before the broadcast, maybe it was even off camera, some of the girls from 17 red cheering their club mates on. They're also schoolmates in some cases, and teammates on the high school teams. Form the bridge for the girls to run through as they took the court. Pretty cool. Back to business, A5 with a big lead now. That might get 6-1 as that is off the block and out of play. And KIVA yet to find an answer for the, you call it the quickness and power of A5 at this point. Reagan roll shot comes up short. That's into the net. I've seen a handful of those. Those are the most frustrating. You know what you want to do. You want to roll it right over the block and into the middle of the court. It just doesn't quite go. Carly, nice job on the throw. That'll make it 2-7 for Dana. Dana, nice serve. Dana, nice dig. Carly's hit off the block, blocked into the deep court. Again, seeing some of those that are blocked back beyond the defensive coverage and into the deep court as most of the block coverage packs in around the 10-foot line. Into the middle, nice turn there, Carly. 3-8. RJ checks in, Madeline with serve. Nice rip, hard cross. (9-3). 85 girls bringing some heat. That one's into the net. Point KIVA. Cheyenne will check in. She'll serve. 5-point deficit for KIVA at 4-9. Boom! Into the 17 red contingent. A block touch is called, but I don't actually think we can touch that high. Just kidding, of course. I did not see a block touch, though, to be honest. I'm sure it was a totally valid call. RJ on the slide, misfire. Looked like a paintbrush, only not deep enough. Well, between high-level execution for A5 and some self-inflicted wounds by KIVA. Bit of a deficit. Brooke scores on the shoot to the corner. Front corner, that is. 11-5 for Addison. Addison takes aim at the A5 bench. Looks like she maimed the DS over there. And while satisfying, doesn't score. 12-5. Brooke, nice rip. Too much heat for the libero for A5. 6-12 now for RJ. Give it a nice up. Tip over the block. Lib is there, but net violation on KIVA. Go KIVA! R1 makes some kind of gesticulation as if to explain the call that nobody else saw. Tipped over. Nice job, Riley. She probably sees that there's no one around to set it. Cheyenne was trying to battle through a couple of picks that were being set in the paint. Riley shuffled it out there. And Brooke got it done. Okay. Point KIVA, 7-13. Brooke back to serve. Goes to the shorty. Nice pass off the shorty, but A5 not able to take advantage. It looked like a jumbo with too much pace. Really didn't have any downforce or wrist snappy on that. But I don't think the score changed. Brooke serving and maybe a replay? Or maybe I didn't pay attention to the score. Anyway, I don't know what's happening, but Brooke just served and it's 8-13. That's blocked back, but out, unfortunately. 14-8. Anybody remembers a former weightlifter known as the Pocket Hercules, but A5 coach looks like the Pocket Grizzly Adams. 9 serving 14 rather. Nice swing, but well wide. 10-14. Oh, good. Dana still serving. Riley blocks that back. Covered though. The recycle though is stuffed by Carly. Straight down. 11-14. KIVA shaking off some early jitters and has A5 wanting to talk it over. They have cut the lead to 3, 11-14. Dana back serve. She's on a 3-ace run in set 3. That one's hammered down the line for the point, so there'll be no 3-ace run for the moment. A5, nice response coming out of the timeout. Hammers that down and 15-11. Carly banging it off the triple block. Nicely done, 12-15. Madeline will serve. Book fins that off, but the ensuing overpass was just perfectly set up to be destroyed by the A5 contingent, which they promptly did. 16-12. It's one of those where you hope the girls' eyes are the size of beach balls and they crush it into the net, but no. Misconnection there that is set over the apex of Carly's reach. I don't know how that gets scored. Anywho. That's considered a ball handle in the air, a hitting error. The more you know, the less you know. All right, timeout on the floor. KIVA made a run. Got the lead down to 3. 85 called timeout and has pushed it back up to 5. They're at 17-12. See if KIVA can have a similarly successful response coming out of their timeout. Again, KIVA not with the services of Lila this weekend. Big rip there, that is through the block and down. 18-12, 6-point A5 lead. A5 doing a nice job in their system, they're bringing heat. Sometimes when they're out of system, they're bringing heat. Got some heat there, but it was right into the net, which is the kind of heat we like. 13-18 for Cheyenne. With a great up. Cheyenne with a great up. Look at a nice swing, but they're pretty darn good up themselves with the A5 guys. Brooke gets to reload, and she tools the block. Nice point for KIVA. Loving it when the hustle plays pay off. Helpful. Cheyenne with a nice up. Oh, darn, shundered into the net. A replay call. There was a ball on in the back court of A5, which was not a factor. I'm not sure if something else played into that. So possibly a lucky break for KIVA. Anyway, Cheyenne will reload, and a dirty ace. No one likes a dirty ace quite as much as I do. 16-18. We might be having another A5 timeout, but they're going to play on playoff. And Cheyenne is about to unload another ace on them, which will make them regret that strategy. Well, sometimes I'm wrong. Addison on the run, gets that down, ball on, and another replay. So maybe I wasn't wrong after all. The replay just adds to the drama of Cheyenne's next ace, which is going to occur right about now. Wrong once again. Or maybe that was the first time. Madeline, great up. Good block, but recycles. RJ tools, that's covered. Boom, that splits the block of RJ and Addison for the point. A5 lead now 3 at 19-16. Service error, that's helpful. Addison serve. A setter knows setter things, and she saw the thump coming. Unfortunately, the ensuing ball was hammered off Reagan's block for the point, and A5 extends the lead to 3 again, 2017. Timeout on the floor. Back on the floor. A5 by 3 at 2017. It is officially crunch time. RJ! Triple block up, but they did not close that outside with the middle, and RJ hammered it right between them. Nice swing there. Snapped it down with some pace. 18-20. Keep it within 2. There's an ace! Way to go, RJ! 19-20. We got a ball on the court. Must be warm-up time. Nice swing. A5 splits the blocker. Pushes the lead back to 2, 21-19. Addison on the run. Brooke off the block, kept up though. Libero shuffles it out. That's off the candy cane. Point KIVA. Back to a 1-point game, 20-21. Brooke back to serve. That is deep touch on the way out the door, and an ace for Brooke, and we're tied at 21. Do you believe in unlikelihoods? Timeout A5. KIVA started slow, appeared to have no answer for the A5 speed and power, and they had some aggressive serving and nice offensive output as well. E6 now tied at 21 in a race to 4. High stakes game for KIVA, not as much for A5, who I believe is 2-0 and guaranteed a spot in the goal. They take a 1-point lead, 22-21. We thought it was crowded for the early games of the morning session. The afternoon session teams a piece of it, but that won't be enough. 23-21, 2-point A5 lead. I'm going to say this is a must-win point because otherwise we'll be staring down at some point. And some change and a miscommunication there as Brooke was coming up for the short out community. Whoa, that was extremely dangerous. Thought that was going to trickle over. Luckily it didn't. That'll bring Dana up. Down by 2 at 22-24. Did I mention the 3-point ace extravaganza she put on earlier in the day? It's tooled off Carly's block. That'll be set 1 to A5. They win 25-22. However, we do have a line judge flag up and an R1 discussion ensuing. So hold all tickets. The inquiry light is on. And upon further review, is determined a hallucination on the part of the line judge. And so we're going to pretend like that ever happened. Just like that one season of Dallas. Okay, A5 with the opening set win. And there we go. In defense of the work team, they're done playing for the day and may have had some edibles or something. I don't know. Just trying to understand. All right, well, after it looked like they were going to get run out of the gym, KIVA girls up to their game. Let's see if they can bring that same level of intensity and execution to set 2. They can get a win there and push to set 3. All is not lost. No smoking sign is on. We're about ready for takeoff. We ask that for the duration of this flight, you leave your seats and cheer your brains out for KIVA 16 Red, who needs a win here to keep hopes alive to compete in the gold divisions. we've got a fresh squadron of flag bearers, but they look borderline narcoleptic. I'm not sure that bodes any better for the... Looks like the R1 is trying to solve a Rubik's Cube. All right, Kiva's going to start the festivities from the service line. Whoop, back with that task. Nice deep serve. The lying bench warmers for A5 signaled out, but clearly in. Narcoleptic line judge was on it. 1-0, Kiva lead. Nice set there, but that is sculled into the next county. 2-0, Kiva lead. Hammered down, Madeline. Nice dig, but it carries over the net now to play. Point A5. 1-0 as 1-2 rather, as their lib goes back to serve. Nice throw. Bring your triple block. I'll throw the ball right around it. Riley does just that. 3-1 for Dana. Dana with the ace. Hopeful. All right, Reagan throws it down a couple times, so it finally stays. Point Kiva, they lead by 4, 5-1. Nice serve there. Too much heat for the lib. 6-1. It may not be 3 in a row, but it's 2 on this service rotation and possibly counting. That looks nasty as well, but a good pass there. That is chundered wide. Point Kiva. Nice fast start for the girls in hot pink. 7-1 timeout. Called by A5 as they have been set upon by a swarm of angry Kiva girls. Back out of the timeout, 7-1 lead for Kiva. Dana back to serve. Nice one. Off the net board for the points. Dana. The disruptor. Nice. Oh, I think they talked her into it. It looked in from here. R1 overrule. No, don't have the sack for that. 2 serving 8. Nice swing. Riley. Just off the outside blocker hand. And down. Madeline on a serve. 7-point Kiva lead, 9-2. Swing is long. Scorekeeper is confused. 10-2. fails to meet the minimum height requirements.
Here we go, Tiz, come right back at you.
Point A5. 3-10, 7-point KIVA lead. Did not think that was going to clear, but it did. Unfortunately, off the block. Nice up. Madeline gives chase. Valiant effort, but can't track it down. She slid into the stands here. Off camera. Almost got a paw on that. 'Tis neither horseshoes nor hand grenades, though. Still up. And second contact. Who was that? Gets the assist. I like it. 11-4 for Cheyenne. Dump coming. Dana read her like a book. Kind of a large print Reader's Digest format for that matter. 12 serving 4. Nice play there. KIVA playing with some energy and intensity, and I like it. Off the block, Dana, nice, or rather, Madeline, nice up. Brooks' tip is rejected. Back row for Cheyenne. She tips to the front corner and flummoxes the leg. And a 13-4 lead for KIVA, and the KIVA faithful enjoying the show almost as much as the girls. Timeout number 2 for A5, and the pocket Grizzly Adams is chewing them pretty hard. Nice serve overpass opportunity here. Out to Brooke. Through the block and to the floor. Point KIVA. 14-4. Brooke block touch. Coverage, Cheyenne back row. Nice swing. Did it catch anybody on the way out? There was a triple block up and a defender in the way, but it went through unscathed, apparently. 5 serving 14. Point for A5 there. Brooke. Nice work from Madeline. Madeline, great dig. Into the middle, RJ wipes that. Brooke goes lefty, that's covered. She tracks that. Dana ladles over. Nice back tip. Fancy. 6-14. Oh, no. Communication opportunity there as Cheyenne and Madeline not on the same page. Yeah. But the service error is helpful. Nice rally. A5 gets the better of that. They trail though, 9-17. So they try to claw their way back in this. KIVA trying to win and force third and deciding set 3. Nice job through the wickets. We get 18-9. RJ back to serve. Hammered off Riley's block. Ten serving 18. Riley with a nice swing. 19-10 now. Blocks back, but covered. Reagan with it is that. Swing there, the A5 team likes it. 11-19, KIVA leads by 8. Quick, nice pass. Out to Carly. Oh, a little misfire there. That was tipped wide of the antenna. 12-19. We need to stop here. Keep them from having any momentum. That drops in the shorty ace. 13-19, and timeout is called. All right, we're out of timeout. 6-point lead. Brooke. Tough pass there. That's hammered down. Big swing there. Another 85-point. They are on a major run. And KIVA looking for a stop. We'll call another timeout. 16-19. Nice swing there.
Swing, Carly!
And much needed to hopefully slow the A5 run. Bring Dana up, who's had a nice serving day. Let's see, a continuation of that would be not such a bad thing. Nice serve there. Riley, nice block. Recycled. And blocked again. Sundered out by the post. Addison with a dump that's covered. Blocked back. Nice rally. KIVA comes up a little short. Another setter dump, that's also covered. Ball on the play though, we're going to redo that one. A5 will reserve. Trailing by 3, 17-20. That was going our way, all of a sudden it wasn't, and now A5 has pulled within 2 after KIVA led by as many as 28. Miscommunication there. Maddie ladles over. That's chundered into the abyss though, that's helpful. 21-18. But KIVA tightened up a little as A5 has been in the midst of this big run. Hopefully they can right the ship here. Cheyenne. That's blocked back and into the deep court for the point. 23-19. Nice job, KIVA. Nice serve. Oh, just long. I like an aggressive serve to the deep corner, but it just carried a bit long. Point A5. They're within 3 at 20-23. And we've got never blew the whistle, so that is a replay, or I guess it really never was a play in the first place. Oh, really? All right, set point. Just a bit long. 21-24. Not bad, Addison says. With that sort of wan smile of hers. Not bad. What can you do? All right, nice job, Kiva, coming back and getting set 2. That will force the third and deciding set we were hoping for. I wasn't here, but I don't know that we had any hail.
Did you guys get hail? Did you get hail when we had that?
I heard some. So, do you think it's going to total out one?
No way. You gonna buy it back?
We need a new roof. And was building something in the garage, so even my truck was outside, so like the hood was I'm like working this week, and all of a sudden I'm getting all these like texts from Stable on, like emails, like, oh damn, like, and I see it's on his truck, I'm like, really? I'm are you okay? And he's like, no, I'm fine. He's like, I took a look at our vehicles and the light, like, the whole roof, the power line, the hood, he's like, I think I told him what's up. I know what it does, because I get in the car.
Just move the Blanco onto him. Yeah, he likes it.
Yeah, it's fun. We want to keep that. And then since I don't drive anywhere, I was like, maybe I just go like a week. Because I really don't put that many miles on it. Dan will take the Bronco.
Ooh, I sit corrected.
No, I like it. I mean, just keep the Bronco.
I take it back. Our statistician is on staff.
I got a lease car and drive the Bronco.
Apparently A5 is 1-1 as well, and therefore this is must-win territory for them, quite potentially. Does bring up the specter potentially of a three-way 1-1 tie, which is unsettling, or 2-1. I'm not sure how many that would be. If that's a possibility. In which case, the differential may come into play. Above my pay grade at this point, we can only worry about the next 15 points in front of us and let the chips fall where they may. Set 3 coming up. Great to see Kiva respond. Big comeback in set 1 after it looked like they were going to run out of the gym. Set 2, kind of the opposite in reverse. They got out to a massive lead, but had to weather a late run by A5, who made it close. Setting the stage in this instant classic? Question mark? Exclamation point? So Kiva is going to serve first. Brooks back to do the honors. We serve set 2 as well, so at least I think we did. Maybe that bodes well. We got off to a rampaging start there in set 2. All right, Brooks just started. Nice serve and an ace. Nicely done. Brooke trying to play fast. She's back to the service line already. Nice dig in there, too, for her. 2-0 lead, Kiva. Off the block, Addison has that. Back row for Brooke. Kept alive. Brooke with the knuckle, the lib from out of nowhere keeps that alive. And it's chundered into the abyss. A5 wants a point, but they are delusional. And Dana will serve 3-1 A5, or rather a 3-1 KIVA lead, I should say.
Stay hot, 3. Good serve.
He's slammed off the block for the point, 2-3.
I'll get it right back. Here we go, back row. Come on, he's best out there. Let's go. Hey, run that back row. Pick it up. Go block.
Nice work over the top. Pocket Grizzly Adams is complaining once more. Looks perfectly fine from here. Four serving 2 for Madeline. Dump comes Brooke. Nice one-handed stab. Keeps that alive. Carly sends that deep. The lid for A2 is there. A5 rather is there. Brooke tries to corral that, but deflects back and out of play. Madeline gave a great effort trying to track it down. 3-4 now.
Come on, we need you.
A5 serving for the tie.
Make this pass.
Nice job. RJ with throws that off the block. It was lifted. They're now complaining about the throws and power dinks, all of which look completely legal. You're not changing planes on those, bringing them up and then down. So the whining should probably stop. That's just me. Overpass. Worried that we weren't perceiving it as an overpass. Brooke drills the block. Nice job there. 6-3 the lead. Yellow card! He's trying to slow down play. Up, let's go! All right, 6-3. Incessant whining from the A5 coaching staff has fallen on deaf ears. However, it's grating on my nerves. Anyway, they call timeout. Trying to slow the KIVA juggernaut. I can tell you one thing. It's not going to work. Let's go. All right, we're out of timeout. Cheyenne, nice serve. Off the block. Oh, Madeline. Not sure if there was a moment of hesitation as she saw Brooke potentially thinking about making a play on it. In any case, it falls down. Nice swing off the block. 4-6, A5 now back to serve. They go short. Madeline, nice pass. Cheyenne, nice overhand dig. Close that one. Dana with the dig. A5 finally wins a great rally after some spectacular defense from the KIVA girls. Kind of a battle of field position there. Now A5 looking like they want to play fast. We're okay with that. We like tempo. On the slide. Down. Big point for RJ. 2-point KIVA lead at 7-5. Addison's back to serve. Madeline with a great one-handed stab. Unfortunately, it deflects out of play back behind us. Interrupts the 17 red game going on as they are taking on somebody or other. Back to the business at hand. A5 serving for the tie. They go for the shorty. Cheyenne's there. That's out. RJ tips over the block. Cycled back. Brooke goes lefty, kept alive, ladled over, but we ran out of contacts. We're tied at 7. And timeout on the floor. I assume that was called by KIVA, but did not actually see the request nor the recognition from the officials. I know nobody's watching that boring basketball when you've got action like this in the volleyball court. We'll return you to March Madness in about 20 minutes, but for now, enjoy the spectacle of A5 versus KIVA here in set 3. Reagan shot sails out the back, no touch called. Although it would have been a welcome development, and A5 takes their first lead of the set. They are up by 1, 8-7. Tough pass there, still kept alive though. Great play, Addison. Ladled over by Madeline. Off the block though into the scorer's table. Point A5. The lead is 2 at 9-7. Let's go, KIVA!
Step it up right now! Go, KIVA!
I gotta say, these girls have done a remarkable job covering the setter digs. Addison's usually pretty good and crafty with those. That one's blocked back for the point. The lead is 3, 10-7. Tide has shifted a bit. A5 definitely with the momentum at the moment. People led by 3, maybe 4 at one point. Now trail by 3, however, 10-7. All right, we're back to live action. Cheyenne, nice pass. It's out to Brooke. That's off some hands. And that's the call, yes. Point KIVA. Pocket Grizzly Adams wants to complain, but knows that there's nothing to complain about. Nice swing there. Net was definitely moving. KIVA faithful mentioned possible net violation. Didn't see anything.
Go, Kiva.
No call. We're playing on 11-8.
Go, Red. Come on.
85 by 3. Riley into the teeth of the triple block. That's returned to Cinder. A5 now in control. 12-8. 4-point lead. They're 3 points away from capturing the match. That one opened up to let that one sail past. However, it dropped in. Point 8-5. Lead is 5-13-8. Let's go, KIVA! Net touch took a little pace off of that ball. Handcuffed Brooke. That'll bring up match point for A5. They've got a handful of in pocket. Swing over the block. That's blocked back. But a net violation is called, and that's going to end it. Point for A5. They take it the third set, 15-8. Puts KIVA at 1-2 on the day, and most likely headed for the base medals. The WTF bracket, also known as the element of surprise. All right, we're going to shut it down. We will now return you to March Madness and figure out what our fate is for tomorrow. Might be afternoon festivities, not sure. In any case, we're signing off from the Indy Convention Center. Great run by KIVA, but couldn't hold the lead there in set 3. Would have been an epic win. But we'll have to wait for another day. All right. So